there's this course I need to take. I'm like, oh, no, 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 no.
And this is exactly why I want us, like the college, as in our community here, to get so involved in the digital landscape. I mean, I feel like having like that level of connectivity can transform so much. Like literally, LinkedIn, the concept of like you can reach out to someone on LinkedIn and immediately connect, and then you can get maybe some insights from what they're doing. We connected with someone from Harvard and Children's Boston's, and they're the pioneers of some of the new innovation in the EHRs. Literally, like one connection solved like a question that we had, and it's like if we can just really just use that power of the digital sort of connectivity and some of what we're doing with it's either pharmacy or if it's just something in healthcare innovation or what have you. I think this is like what I'm getting from you is like we just need to start somewhere, just do it, take action, and then
And goes
see how you validate.
My thought process is not only just start, but start and freaking go
And
fast.
just go hard.
I'm talking, be very patient because it's going to take a long time to
Yes.
get anywhere. I was joking with them. I posted my very first post on Instagram. I went back and looked at it. It had one like, and it was Jen.
Wow.
Like,
yeah.
It's
That's
like
it.
it was like a sympathy like, and
Yeah.
I posted every single night for 5 or 6 months, and
Right.
nobody listened. Like I was posting stuff on Amazon's Alexa.
Right.
I was putting stuff on YouTube. It had like 0
Mhm.
views. Like
Mhm.
I was talking and talking and talking, and I was talking to nobody. But I just kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it, and like
Yeah.
and it wasn't even that long. 6 months is nothing in the grand scheme of it. And that's why I know like it's only been a year and 5 months or so, and so I know like where it'll be in 3 years. And I think that the big thing is like that, and I think Gary Vee always says that like
Right.
micro speed, macro patience, or macro patience,
Yeah.
micro speed,
Yeah.
because like you have to go fast and hard like every single day, but know that it's still going to take a long time to get there, and you just
Right.
keep pushing. Because what happens, I feel like, with a lot of people, and I've seen this, I had a lot of people start, whether it's like essential oils or that Rodon and Fields nonsense or
Mhm.
whatever it is, like a lot of people started at the same time I did, like with
Mhm.
Instagram,
Mhm.
and they stopped after like 2 months because it's like
Okay.
no one's listening. It's like, oh, it's not working.
Ah.
So you can give it time,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
now I have some stuff that's starting to kind of happen a little bit. So I have a few other people like, oh,
Right.
well, that looks easy enough. And I'm like, no, you didn't see all
Right.
those times where I couldn't hang out with my friends or I stayed up till 3 in the morning
Yeah.
and did all that stuff. You didn't see that part of it. All you see is what it is now, where
Mhm.
it is a little easier to reach a lot of people and have people that. But I gave away free content, free knowledge for a year and 5 months now before anybody even started to listen.
So that was the other question I had was like for this specific project was like there's a lot of folks who go into this influencer area and they're just really providing valuable quality content,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no plan for like a business concept, or but then there's folks that have like a business concept already ahead, but they're creating their own content or they're using other micro influencers to create content. So I know there's like these different dynamics.
What I've seen is the people who come
Yeah.
into like Instagram and things like that with a business model ahead of time,
Okay,
all of their content revolves around what they're selling.
so it becomes a bit
It's
less
it's
authentic.
it's not even
or,
it's not even
Yeah.
sort of authentic. It's like
Right.
just
Clickbaity.
it's just like here's all my posts and all of it's buy something from me.
Okay, yeah,
Well, how
Yeah.
that's not bringing them value. It's
so
just
that's
a
not
post. Why would they follow you?
Yeah.
I see musicians that do that. It's like, oh, check out my song, check out this.
Mhm.
But like, how about you put a video on there of how to play drums
Yeah,
and work your way through like an 808 beat and like work through like why don't you have tutorials bring value?
right.
Because then that whole law of reciprocity takes over, and then they come back when you actually
Right.
do sell something.
Right.
So for me, I've actually been very, because I remember that innovators meetup that I did last September. It's been a year. Jeez.
Yeah. This
Um,
whole year, basically. Yeah.
you know, that was the first question somebody asked me. They're like, "So where's your business model?" And then I'm like,
Yeah.
and I answered it for what it is. I was like, I'm not worried about it. I don't need the money. And because I knew what he was getting at, and I knew he didn't understand where I was getting at. Because I feel like the longer I can build this,
Right.
Me and one of the guy that does the Cole Swanson, the guy that does the co-host with me for the podcast.
Yeah.
Him and I are writing a book with Wayne Wirt.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
like when that actually happens, like then I'll ask.
That's
Then
the
I'm gonna
value.
push it. I
Right.
want to run Facebook
Right.
ads. I'm gonna run Instagram ads. I'm gonna run on my flash briefing on Alexa. That's when but I'll up until that point, it's like I'm just giving away. And honestly, even if
It's harder to pitch, by the way. That's
Huh?
I've been finding that harder to pitch, and I totally get that. I just when you go to people and say, "Hey, I want to,"
and that's
it's like,
well, and that's kind of for me. That's why I'm like, good, okay,
right,
watch this.
right.
And that's why like I've been really
Well-
hesitant when you said like, oh, you need to come pitch your stuff. I'm like, I don't really want to pitch.
Yeah, sure.
Because it's like for me, I know what they're thinking, and they're like, well, what's the business? I just want to be like, watch. You'll see what I'm going to do. And then when the time comes, then
Got
you
it.
can write me a check.
Got it.
Because then once something's built, then there'll be something to stand on. And then we
Right.
can go fat. Then we can start jumping into some different avenues. But you have to have that foundation.
Well,
Everybody just wants to jump into it with no audience.
So, okay, so I get that. The question I guess I have for us is we have to break this down into like milestones, right? We have to like make sure we said commitment, consistency, and patience. Yeah, these three things.
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, that sounds like we have to have a good cadence for pushing out material and getting that out there, the value out there, and we have to have a goal at the end of it, right? So, like, what I kind of come back to this concept of those SMART goals, right? So, like, have like say put a point in a year timeline, for example, and say, what do you want to achieve in a year? What are your metrics? Whatever. What are you looking to do? And then like work backwards and say like, okay, within a month, what is the results you want to achieve in each and every month? And then from that, you go into like each week, what do you need to do to take action to reach that? So I guess my question is like, what's the 1 year goal for us? Well, like what would be the 1 year goal for us in this kind of scenario?
So, I mean, to me, I'm still having a problem like understanding what the overall
Like the oval well, I guess
like what we're
phase.
even trying to do. Because
Yeah.
if we were going to do like a class or to educate, and feel free to jump in here, dudes, and let us like
Yeah.
dominate.
Yeah, sure.
But I feel like if our overall idea is to like promote entrepreneurship, the way I personally would go about it, just because this is all I know, I haven't built a big business or anything yet, so I can only speak for the little tiny bit that I've done.
Yeah.
I would say that you need to look at yourself as a healthcare professional, as a personal brand.
Mhm.
You need to build and
Yes.
network that personal brand, because that in and of itself, even if you never start a business,
Mhm.
is going to open up huge doors. Like, why the freak am I teaching PA school right now?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's like a joke. Like,
Right.
I am on paper. Like, I have, like, hopefully I pass this BCPS
Sure.
this coming month,
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
I got my CDE, stuff. But when I first started doing that job, like I had no business teaching that, like on paper.
Mhm.
But like they knew me from a couple people, like word of mouth. They saw the podcast, they saw the stuff I was doing on Alexa, and it kind of went from there. So it's like you build this personal brand,
Right.
whether or not you're actually going to start a company, but to get your name out there. It's like your virtual CV, if you will,
Okay.
but it works for you in real time, to where you're not just like handing it. No, please read this. Like if you have enough content down there, people will find it. Because if like
I like that idea.
student who contacted me about doing rotation, he lives in
Right.
Florida. Like
Right.
why the heck would he know who I am? Like he follows my podcast, he follows the stuff on Instagram. Now he's gonna come do a rotation with me in Charleston, South Carolina. Like that's crazy. That person coming to CSU for P school instead of coming to MUSC. She straight up told me on Instagram that she follows my stuff and she wanted to come. And
So that's because you're the solo, like you're so on the solo mission here. So we have 4 on our team. So
but think about like as a university, if
Right.
you could get even a few
Ah.
people
okay.
I like, are you kidding me? How many people would come if you guys are
Right.
putting out tons of content, tons of stuff, showing people
Sure.
how to do stuff,
Sure.
innovate? You got one guy in your thing knows how to do programming, one guy. So no matter what,
So
because
you have your
everybody has some
personal.
sort of a side thing that they like.
Yeah.
So it might be photography, it might be video graphics, it might be
Mm-hmm.
business, it
Mm-hmm.
might be freaking art,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is. You have somebody putting out stuff. Okay, you like to draw, you like to do art. Good. Do diagrams of freaking pathophysiology
Mm-hmm.
processes and show what that looks like in real. Because I could never do that. I'm
Okay.
not artistic.
Yes.
And for me, it's just like draw some crap on a napkin and call it good. Find out what they like. When they want to be involved. Find out what else they're passionate about besides medicine, and
Right.
how do you incorporate that into medicine.
I see.
And then from there, you
let
start
them.
building out. Now people are starting to look at the school,
Right.
and they're like why does no school
Ah,
have a flash briefing?
I love this concept. I want to show you something real quick. You've probably seen this. This is kind of speaks exactly to this concept. Our department has created a podcast for information security. Two guys, basically, they started out just leveraging this tool for just making sure our enterprise is secure and they're aware of the risks. And now they're really blown up. They're getting like hits all over the world. I would say they're getting reach, and this is like starting here, with our. And so the brand reputation is actually like coming here.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the
Exactly.
people are coming here just to hear about this
Because they're
stuff.
like, oh shoot, well this
So-
school is doing big things. Like,
Yeah.
and then because it starts, back in the 70s and 80s, it was like, okay, well they're doing all this research.
Yeah.
I want to go to that school. I want to go to that university and study under that person, that physician.
So it aligns
do
with
resident-
it. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the same thing. It's just a digital landscape now, and
So-
that's the part where I feel like everybody's sleeping.
I feel like I mean, as far as like we grew up from College of Pharmacy, like that was home for us, right? Like I feel like all of us really, and so if we could give even that measure of value back in a way, like that helps the college and really helps our community. I feel like that's one of the goals. So that should be definitely a goal.
And for me, like, if I was going to be directly involved with this,
Yeah.
It's good because I know that if I build this up, like, it still builds my own personal brand up, and
Yeah.
um,
And individually, right.
I would even look at, because one of the big things is that I know the college pushback would be,
Mhm.
let's say that you have a professor who's super knowledgeable.
Mhm.
We'll just use this. He would be all for it, but let's say Wayne Wirt.
Yeah.
Okay. Wayne would be, the gold mine for evidence-based medicine and clinical studies and all that. If, he were to broadcast that stuff and put it out there, people would say, well, you're letting people have it for free. Like, they should pay tuition to have it. But why?
That's our traditional.
That's
like
your
CEs
that's your gateway drug.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, these guys are charging, they're making money.
It's-
Good, and the mine's free. Guess they're gonna be listening to?
Yeah.
Like,
I think
and
that's where we're slow.
make it better
That's-
than the guy who's charging,
Yes.
and just give and give and give and give, and then like eventually it's that whole jab right hook.
Right.
You give. Once you've given 51%, you ask for 49% back, and you give them more than you actually take in value, and then it builds. Like, why the heck is, like, it blows my mind that, like,
Yeah.
his bar and grill or the topic discussions that the residents do, why is that not live on Instagram?
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah. Right.
If I was running that stuff, every
that's-
single one of them would be live
Grand
on
rounds,
Instagram.
I've been thinking
Grand
also,
rounds on
I mean,
Instagram. Why people can
It's
ask
like-
questions all around the country in
Right.
real time.
Right. Even more powerful than
People are sleeping on it.
Yeah. We truly are sleeping. So here's the story of the why behind this by the way. It's I think it's true to like me as a pharmacist, but also as someone who works in technology. And I probably should have started with this earlier, but my neighbor, she got two knee surgeries, I think, and she was just she was on like several, like probably a dozen medications. She had a hard. Maybe I talked to you about this, Mike, but she had a hard time like scheduling her medication around her like meal times. If she skipped a meal, it would throw everything out of whack. And then I talked to her and I was like, well, I do technology now. I'm not like a traditional pharmacist. I work in technology. And she was like, oh great, maybe you can tell me like what's the best app to use so I can like keep track of all my medications. I felt so embarrassed because I didn't even know, first of all, what the top 5 apps would be for me to like introduce it to, but also like even if I did know what the app was, like I wouldn't know what the pros and cons of each and every app is in context to her, like, you know, her scenario, her situation. And so I thought I should just do a video on that, like just do like a short video for clinicians by clinicians on the top 5 you know, medication reminder apps and what are the pros and cons of each. I mean, simple as that. Like, it's unboxing technology because first of all, we're too what do you call it? We have too much information out there, but we're just too tired as clinicians to like learn the new and emerging, you know, tech. We're kind of slow, like you said, we're sleeping, and so like getting it in front of the clinicians, I think, will be super easy to do using some of these tools, right? YouTube and Instagram. But we can make a positive impact in their practice. And so that's where I was initially thinking we should go with this. And maybe that's where we should start. Just like you said, just start somewhere. Just start with some of that. But then introducing like the entrepreneurship piece, that was more of like, you know, you have these cool technologies, these tools out there, but you also have these systems, like we have these systems, EHRs in place, and a lot of times we have like physician burnout, we have pharmacist burnout because they're overwhelming. And so like helping clinicians navigate that, like make it less burdensome for them, like either show them techniques on how to use some of these technologies or to have them like, you know, become more productive in different ways, like self-care, like personal development, like, you know, build routines into their practices, that kind of stuff. So there's like 2 spectrums. There's like one that's more technology heavy, and then there's another spectrum that's more like personal development heavy. So that's kind of where we were in the mix with.
And I think it's good to marry the 2 together.
Would it be?
Like,
Okay.
because for instance, most of my stuff is evidence-based medicine.
Okay.
However, I got like when my podcast got on Spotify and iHeartRadio, people were
Right.
like, "What? You know, how do we get? Like, how did you do that?" And like, so I made a blog on how I did it step by step. I took screenshots of all the things, the applications.
wow.
I sent,
Yeah.
I hyperlinked everything. So
Yeah.
literally, you just click through my blog and you
Yeah.
can apply to every one of the podcasts. And like some of the secret applications that you have to get someone who's already on there to send it to you, I just put it out there because. And then I had a couple of people who do podcasting like mad at me because they were like, "Well, that's ridiculous. You're just giving it, you know, you're just giving it to free. All that hard work you put to figure it out." I'm like, "Who cares? They're not gonna do anything with it. Like 99%
Wow.
of people aren't gonna do crap with it. They're not gonna start a podcast. They just think they are. And now I'm a good guy because I gave it to them for free. They're not my competition.
Yeah.
It's hard to start a podcast.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of
It
time.
is hard. Yeah. Oh,
So
boy.
and you know, and I'm cruising with it now. It's
Yeah.
freaking cake at this point.
Right.
So I know that the 99% of people who are gonna read that and clap and they get all psyched up and they buy their little crappy microphone from Amazon
Right.
and they're ready to go. They're not ever gonna record the first episode. So why am I worried about it? And if they are, if some rock star comes out and he's gonna good, I hope he crushes my podcast because then it's gonna make me want to work harder and beat his again.
Competition is always
Yeah.
good.
Like
I mean,
I'm not
actually, it's better.
scared of that. It's
Yeah.
awesome. I hope he does freaking come after
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Good, climb my mountain. I'm gonna come after you too.
Well, also, if there's like competition, it also suggests that there's actually more demand in that space, and so yeah, you certainly want to be in there if there is.
So like, you know, I'm actually working on a blog right now talking about like some of the graphic stuff that I use and the videography stuff that I've used, some of the equipment that I use, and like how it's kind of evolved, and starting to talk more about the creative
Nice.
piece as I learn it. I mean,
Right.
I'm slowly talking about that because I didn't really have the knowledge to be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
But I'm just talking about it from what it is. I'm a pharmacist, you know, that's what I do. This stuff is crap that I've learned on YouTube, and it's sort of working out. So take it for what it's worth. I'm not an expert. I'm not a professional. But if it helps you, then good. Because I put out a whole blog on how to set up an Amazon briefing. People were like, why the heck? It took me 2 months to figure that out.
Yeah, it took you a while.
I mean,
know
I was working 14-hour days
yeah,
in my freaking office at home trying to figure that out. And then I put a blog that'll help you set it up in 10 minutes so you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
People were like, well, why are you doing that? Because no one's going to do it.
Yeah.
Most people that followed my blog to get on there did it for a week, realized how hard it was, and then they quit. So I'm still the good guy that helped them get it on there. It
Actually,
didn't do anything to me.
I was gonna say like there's YouTube channels on basically how to create YouTube videos,
Right.
and they get the most amount of hits because they
They're
show
bringing value.
bring value, right? And it's like almost like a search engine. Like even if you have a 4-year-old video, you're still probably gonna get a lot of hits, and then you'll probably be racking up passively now. So even if you're not monetizing it, still like gets you brand.
And all that is attention.
Yeah, attention. Yeah,
So
that's,
I do this thing on get somebody's podcast started. Let's say they start a Ninja Turtle podcast. Who the heck cares what it is? It has nothing to do with what I do. Great.
Yeah.
They love it. They're super happy.
Sure.
They're also a healthcare professional by training,
Mhm.
but they're doing this podcast and they're having a great time. Now I put out my book for $10. I've brought them this whole side thing that they like doing
Right.
that I never asked them
Oh.
for a thing. Of course they're gonna want to buy. I had people that bought when I first put out that subscription to Patreon,
Mhm.
and I haven't even pushed it literally at all. I put it on like literally like 3 or 4 people signed up within the first 10 minutes, and they emailed me and they're like, "Oh, I'm glad I can finally like help support like your stuff."
Nice.
And it was like it was the whole
Yeah.
it was the whole like wanting to like give back because it's like human nature. A lot of
Yeah.
some people can override that, but human nature a lot of times is like, wow, why is this guy
Right.
doing this for me? Like, I've spent time talking on the phone with students, and I want to push that out there because I know it'll come back. I don't have like this big business plan that I can like present and ask for capital and
Right.
write me a check for this because most people think it's crazy.
Right.
But I also have a very, very clear picture in my own head of where it's going, and then we'll get to see who made it. The guy who asked for 10 grand when he didn't have anything other than a prototype of a plan. To be able to start off your plan,
Yeah.
and please jump in with this because I'm curious to see your thoughts. To jump in your plan with, I'm gonna sell. Who gives a crap about like actually giving back or like trying to build an audience? That'll come because people will just be like
Right.
drawn to my sales pitch. How often does that
Or even if it's
happen?
validated, I don't know.
Like nobody from Vans contacted me
Yeah.
and was like, "Hey, you want to buy a pair of Vans?" No, I went to their store, I sought them out because it's brand. I was like, "These people are awesome. They put out great video
Yeah.
of people
Right.
skateboarding. I like to watch that. That's escapism for me. They put out
Mm-hmm.
surfing videos. I like that. That's super fun to watch. Cool. I'm gonna buy your shoes because I think they're cool too." Like,
That's it.
I don't believe in the whole start off with sales when you have no one to sell to. Like, I'm not gonna listen to that guy. I'm not gonna buy any of that stuff. He's just talking about going to the nurses and all that stuff. They're gonna be like, "Who are you?" What if he was putting out tons and tons of content the last year and a half on how to make your life better as a nurse?
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
tell me then when he shows this product that actually may make their life better, even
Mhm.
though it costs money, they're not gonna push it in the hospital for him? Like, no, I know this guy. This guy talked to me when I was having problems in pharmacology, or whatever he can bring to the table for them.
Yeah.
Just whatever. Like, I don't know, man. I think that's the move. I think that people are too quick to like try to turn a profit. Like,
You're right.
I'm more than happy to work my regular job and have that pay my bills, and that gives me more leverage to do this longer.
So how, like, from the pharmacy student, like, perspective, how can we get 100, 1,000, whatever, like, X number of true fans? Like, what engages you guys, like, in a way that you kind of, get hold of that attention, or like it really draws you guys in? Like, what's
Like Mike's
I
been
mean-
saying, I think Instagram is a really great way to try to connect with all the younger generation. Within MUSC, this year's going to be kind of the last year of the collaboration, but we have like the Kennedy Pharmacy Innovation Center. So
yeah,
that is a great resource.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people there have been working with them. I
Yeah.
think they would definitely like to support something like this. I mean, this would
Mhm.
be awesome for them. They're
Mhm.
still up at the Carolina campus, and they have reached statewide, basically people in all the corners.
Mhm.
We used to have classes, based around entrepreneurship, business. There's not really anything left. So if you wanted to start something up there, get the word out that way, I think it'd be a great way to reach students as well.
Mhm.
Or even if you just set up a rotation, and if you have people around the country that can see that type of content, you
Yeah.
get people from all over the place, and then they spread the word to wherever they're going back to.
Yeah, how do we shift that paradigm of like you have a rotation here, or you have a C you have to take here, or like a fixed like point?
Well, I think that
I-
comes because they're gonna see it, and wherever they're from, see it and be like right now,
That's
if I could financially swing it, and Gary Vaynerchuk was like, "Hey, you want to come hang out at Vayner Studios for a
Right.
month?"
Right.
And my wife wouldn't leave me for being an idiot.
Totally do it.
Like I
Yeah.
would be gone,
Oh,
and I would scrub his toilets to learn from him as far
Yeah.
as marketing and stuff.
Absolutely.
Like, so why is that? Like, because he's brought me a lot of value. Every single strategy he's ever given me over YouTube has worked for me.
I
I've
see.
literally never implemented one thing that he said and it had not worked.
So we need to kind of find that way to reach, I think maybe students and clinic, like our own, I guess, folk. I guess that's where I'm kind of getting stuck is like, is it, is this strictly like for, so one thing like is this strictly for like pharmacy in general, the pharmacy community, or like, you know, you've kind of gone to other professions, PA and everything. So is that like an afterthought, maybe like starting with our community? Maybe
I started like with the thought of I didn't want to pigeonhole myself into pharmacy.
Okay.
I knew I would have to start there because of the clicks and the social,
Okay.
you know, just
Sure.
stuff I had to get through the social barriers. But I didn't ever want it to be just pharmacy. That's why, like, one of the
Okay.
reasons I wouldn't join the Pharmacy Podcast Network, because this is Pharmacy Podcast. A
Yeah.
nurse isn't going to want to listen to that.
Yeah. You don't want to
So,
like limit.
like, literally, my core consult article says evidence-based medicine. It doesn't even say pharmacy on
Yeah.
it.
And I think that's important. I think that maybe would that be like,
So, you know, and from a student perspective, like, okay, because let's say you're trying to like get someone like me who's been practicing for a few years, like maybe has their own stuff going on. Like, I think it's gonna be harder to find those people to come into the school because it's gonna bring them less value. You're getting a lot of the upside from that, from having these minds come in.
okay.
And I mean, obviously, not me, because we're you know, we're friends. I'll do anything I can to help you out. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like if I'm a random guy, you've never met me, and you come to me and I'll be like, yeah, I mean, like, maybe, but I wouldn't be like, oh, let me dedicate a ton of my time if I didn't, you know, wasn't friends with you ahead of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas so Cole's a student. Like if I had a entrepreneur group, I would have gone to him the second he won his first business competition, and say, hey, we really want you to be our business marketing guy, and like not only have him come in and like give strategy, but also put out content on teaching people how to write a business plan.
I think that's a key piece. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
now all these
So-
students are starting to learn how to write business.
Right.
None of them are going to compete with him.
Right.
He's so far many levels above them, it's not even a
Right.
competition. But he's educating, and I would even go as far as
Yeah.
like once he gets that rolling for himself, he's like, oh shoot, all these people are listening to me. He's got his own business thing going off of teaching people how to write business plans. He could write like a small, like a 50-page book on how to sell it on Amazon, get it published in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And now he's got a side hustle himself as he's a pharmacist. Like, you're going to build the opportunity for the students, but students are going to be a good way to start because they can provide value. They're still trying to like make a name for themselves, whereas like the more hardcore, like established people, they're like, well, what are you going to pay me? Because everybody's fancy. They think they deserve a paycheck because they have some letters after their name. That's just the way it is. You know, hopefully you'll find some people who don't think like that, but if you have students who like can bring a lot to the, you know, as said too, you know, from like maybe there's some cultural differences. Like, you know, you grew up in India. Tell me about how that impacts. Like, you're gonna reach a whole. I guarantee if there's a whole group of people from India and Setu starts to talk to them versus my stinking white face being like, hey, let me tell you guys. Like,
Yeah,
they're gonna
diversity
listen.
brings
Exactly, like
much more
they're
than
not gonna listen
yeah.
to me. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm the white male I'm like everything that's the stereotypical thing you don't want to listen to, and so.
So there's some intentionality behind that as well. So like what part of
you
our
build a team. Everybody in the team has
absolutely.
their job and their specialty, and then
Right.
that's what freaking.
Right.
I mean, you bring in the stuff that you're not good at.
It's actually interesting. Yesterday we were, or the day before actually, we were talking about. We're on Google Hangout session, so some of this is virtual, but we
Use it
intentionally,
all the time.
right? Isn't that great?
Love
So
'em.
intentionally, we brought in two of our team members are basically women, and you know we're representing a diverse group here. One of them is from the UAE, a guy who's from the UAE, P1, and then myself, of course. And so like bringing that diversity, I think, is super crucial. But the other thing is the reward behind that. So not only we're sort of helping create this, but also like helping support each other and building each other, right? And lifting each other up to a next level. I think to me, that's just amazing. So this journey we're on, I feel like we should do it regardless, even if it's sort of a place where we each individual, like one of us, gets personal branding out of it, and as a group we get personal branding, that's great. Just pure from that level. So I totally agree. So how would you I was getting off track, but like what do you feel about like LinkedIn? Oh, so one thing I wanted to ask was, we were talking about within our group, like both the students didn't have a LinkedIn profile or didn't have a fully developed LinkedIn profile, and we were thinking, well, you have this like career that you have to get into, like when you're in the final year, you have to start developing your CV and resume and all this stuff, and then your online personal profile on LinkedIn especially is crucial. But how many actually get to that point early enough where they're ready to roll? Not many. So it's like, what is the first thing we can do as part of this like forum, this entrepreneur innovative forum in college promises, is have a workshop on LinkedIn and have everyone sign up for a profile and start building it, like starting today, it's just things like that level of diversity brought these types of conversations where we may not have had them. I don't know, but it's just I thought that was pretty insightful. I mean, do you guys have a LinkedIn profile?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have one. All right, so there you go. But you have one that's fully developed, or
I would say
somewhat?
80%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have you started networking using that tool?
Yeah, it's actually a great tool.
Isn't it?
Because kind of like what we said, I met someone on just a Google Hangout topic discussion.
No way.
And then I connected, and then we've been like exchanging messages. So it's been really cool, and that's a great way. How there are so many times where I've been given opportunity to connect with people that I am already connected with a bunch of people. So it makes it so much easier, like, hey, and we've seen each other at conferences or something, and so it makes it so easier. Like, even though you may not have been formally introduced to each other, this is a great way to get to talk to each other and stuff.
Yeah.
So what's your plan going forward? Like right now, like because I would even say like look at it as far as like just you, like right this minute.
So it's funny you say that.
Start jumping on and doing stuff.
It's funny you say that because I was like literally on Thursday I have a set appointment to do a video recording. First one, by the way, because you've been at me for a while. So first one with Aaron Smith, who's our intern here, and actually certified now in Epic. So we're gonna do a quick story on how he got where he is, what experiences he's been able to collect, and we're gonna then shoot it back to our students and give them that video, and then maybe put it on LinkedIn and some other places. So start doing interviews with some of our other folks around these innovation projects we're doing. So literally on a personal basis, just start recording and documenting, and seeing, again, going back to like, I need to find my style because I really don't know what my style. I'm talking to you right now, but I need to find my style on the camera, right? Like maybe
you're on the camera.
Like
just do it.
This is it, right? But I feel like I just need to.
Everybody's like worried when you're like staring at it. It's like, oh, I gotta like, nah, just don't.
Just do it. Yeah.
Just do it. Like just talk. Like I don't even look at. Just don't even look at it. Half the time, if I'm talking like Instagram, I don't even look at the camera.
So I do have on my goal like communication development, and I think there's a couple of tools that I think would be super helpful to you guys as well. As like Carnegie Mellon has a communications course, and I mean that's like, Warren Buffett is sort of like he's recommended this course. Like all these folks have been really recommended this course. So like, I don't think that's something you can ever stop developing is your communication skills, right? So for me, this journey, like what we're doing right now, this is to me that speaks volumes, right? Like it's basically attuned to that goal of like communicating to the world, to the audience, whoever it is. And then secondly, I'm hoping to get this team into high gear and have them do the same individually. And I think that's going to help them create their own voice, right? But also develop how to tell a story. Because ultimately we want to tell stories in this whole journey. So that's it.
Can I just say like one thing?
Yeah.
And like you need to do you, like be yourself aware of like what you need to do. Good. I'm just throwing out my personal, like as soon as I hear I'm going to get a video going, I need this, there's this course I need to take. I'm like, oh, no. No, 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 no.
Oh, yeah. No, I see what you're
Like,
saying. Yeah.
like there is time. You know how the best way
Right.
to like get better at public speaking?
Mhm.
Speak.
To do it, speak. Yeah.
Like teaching it, having a
Yeah.
course, having another book.
Yeah.
Like I have so many people that are like, I want to get started. I'm gonna read this book on this. I'm like, throw that in the trash. Let's go. Like,
Do it. Yeah.
just go.
Okay.
Who cares? You will learn as you go. I am not a good speaker by
Okay.
any means. I'm not. I have a long way to go.
Mhm.
But from where I was a year ago, I'm significantly better.
Yeah.
Even when I was speaking at your thing, I was like, God. And back then, Jen was like, Oh
Really?
wow, you're so much more comfortable like back then.
She recognized
Now
that.
now I'm like I feel way more comfortable than that, and I hope 2 years from now I'm like, look at me teaching CSU classes. What an idiot! Like I want to keep improving, but I'm not about to go stop my content to go to this course so that
Yeah.
they can.
No, that's
like-
a good point. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you have time on the side,
Mm-hmm.
fine. I would just
Secondary to
just try it for like 2 weeks.
Okay.
Every single day,
Okay.
you put out some kind of a video.
All right.
I don't care if it's
Oh boy.
12 o'clock
right.
at night and you're like, I'm so tired. I just
Okay.
want to go to bed. No.
This is it.
Like you put the video on, you talk for 2 minutes about
Pretty-
something.
Actually,
Hey,
2 minutes
how
to
to-
3 minutes is
It's nothing. Like
could be
you
possible. Yeah.
do that
yeah.
before you go to bed
Yeah,
easily.
Easily. Yeah.
And just talk.
All
The
right.
more you talk, the more you get used to doing it, the more you get used to like
Are you saying
feeling
talk
comfortable.
and publish it, or just talk and
I would say make an Instagram TV. Instagram TV is meant
publish it?
to do this.
Okay.
And you record this way,
Okay.
and so it's not meant to be like this
Landscape,
1920 over
right,
1080. It's
right.
actually meant to be upright like a phone.
Okay.
And I have a whole thing of Instagram, like my Instagram TV channel is literally just like stuff as well, like walking around, like doing like random stuff.
Got it.
I'll
Got it.
record something for it
Okay.
and push that out. Now my videos for YouTube may be more like a different thing.
Yeah.
Like you have all these different platforms,
Right.
but there's always something you could be pushing out on one of those platforms. And that's what I
Okay.
mean about opening those doors and having multiple platforms
Okay.
is because if I'm in the car, maybe I'm using Instagram TV. If I'm at home in my actual podcast studio, probably going to use YouTube and, Spotify.
Sure.
It just
Yeah.
depends on
the
what you do.
smartphone, I like that because it's
But-
easy, accessible, and just
And find
to do.
find something that you think would be like
Yeah.
beneficial for students and use like your binary pharmacist page
Yeah.
and put something out.
Fair enough.
Put some content like, oh, here's a good app you should check out.
Yeah.
You should like change up all your hashtags.
Yeah.
Like why do we use Beats, Dr. Dre Beats headphones in our podcast? Because now we get to use hashtag Dr. Dre, hashtag Beats, hashtag Dre, and like all those in our podcast like stuff when we go
Right.
out and meet all these other people who are in the music world, not necessarily medicine,
Really.
and bring that. Yeah, we do everything we do is like very
Cross promotes too.
Yes.
Yeah.
like I try literally to incorporate every single thing
Okay.
into the podcast. I bought iconic posters for the back. I have 3 of them now, and I have
Really?
is a hopefully like because they're starting to do a lot more on YouTube and trying to have a vlog and stuff. I'm hoping to eventually work with them at some point or another
Yeah.
for something.
I mean,
It's-
there's a YouTuber that interviewed Elon Musk the other day.
Right.
And I'm like, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
For
He's a YouTuber.
YouTube,
And it's
right.
not that
I mean-
far. Like
it's pretty crazy actually.
I mean, I've made jokes on the podcast and stuff that I was gonna be the first
Yeah.
pharmacist with like a sneaker deal.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, and,
Yeah,
and
I
everyone's
mean,
like, oh,
it's
but I'm like, yeah, why
totally
not?
possible.
Like, why would that be like completely crazy?
Yeah.
We didn't think that you could be a professional video game player
This is it.
like 10 years ago either. Now people on
Yeah.
Twitch are making ridiculous money.
So at the end of the day, like if you're a content creator or if you're a computer programmer, you're creating basically to the world. You have a power to like transform
Right.
yourself as well as the world. Like this is crazy.
So
So
that course needs to be backburnered,
Will
in my
do.
opinion. Just try it for 2 weeks,
I
and
will.
then you'd be like, "Oh, Mike's an idiot. Never
All right.
mind. I'm doing my course."
okay.
Just try it
Oh well.
every single night. Put out something. I'm gonna go on your Instagram and be like, there's this
All right.
Instagram TV
Oh
video.
no, I will.
and
we'll
and
do this.
as far as like getting the troops riled up, or whatever, the best thing to get the troops is
Action.
you just do it
All right.
and be like, "Come on, slackers, what are y'all doing?
Challenge.
Are you watching
accepted.
TV?"
Yeah.
Like
No, this
that
is-
to me, because then it sees who your true players. There's a lot of people that talk.
Yeah.
As far as
Yeah.
like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that,
And I've been
and then it's
guilty
like,
of being
oh,
one
they just
as well,
never put out
so-
content. Well, if you're constantly
Right.
trying to motivate them,
Right.
they're just taking away from you. So you just got to go. You want to do it.
All right.
You're the only one person you can physically control. So you do your stuff, and then the cream will rise, and you'll
awesome.
find your students who are going to want to like
Okay.
follow in your footsteps.